Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Dr. John Palmiter Bader. He's an entrepreneur, investor, best-selling author, AI influencer, CEO of Clarity AI. And she builds custom AI solutions and also hosts the Your AI Roadmap podcast with top AI experts. Welcome to the show, Dr. Joe.
Delighted to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Dr. John. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you about artificial intelligence. We'll talk about careers, and we'll also talk about financial freedom and building wealth. We'll all talk about this. But before that, let's talk a bit about your background, your journey, so that people know who they are listening to.
Absolutely. Well, greetings from Seattle, wherever in the world people are listening in from. It's almost 9 p.m. here. I am, as mentioned, an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. I'm an author, podcast host, all these things. But mostly, I'm a techie. I'm a linguist. I'm someone who's been working on the back ends of Alexa and Siri type projects in conversational AI. I come to you with this story that unfortunately I have been in 2 big AI layoffs, which unfortunately here in Seattle is actually a really common story. You know, people have a lot of shame. Oh no, layoffs. But when so many people are being laid off, you start to think, is there a roadmap? Do we have a plan? Like, you know, it happens once, you're like, oh, that's sad. Happens twice, you're like, there's got to be another plan, right? Is there another way to do this better? How can we be more resilient? So in my new book, I share how to build income streams and talk about, I think it's just what's going on in society right now with AI, huge opportunity and huge volatility also.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. John. So as someone who you said you are a techie, more of a techie, someone who is more of a techie and also bore the brunt of this whole AI thing, how do you look at AI? How do you want people to look at AI, as a friend or as a not so good friend?
Oh gosh, everyone these days is asking me, right? Is it evil? Is it fabulous? And I think a little bit of both sometimes. I will say it's very ironic to be building these AI and be in AI layoffs, right? It's very metaphysical. I think AI can be such an amazing tool to augment different things. I get to work on really, really cool projects with customers that we can take it to a new place that they could not have taken it with just human hands, right? So I think those are awesome opportunities. People are losing their jobs. That can be a problem when you have to take care of yourself and your family and your community. So there are many, many drawbacks to AI, but with any digital revolution, we're going to see huge changes. And so my idea is, instead of to be anxious and just freaking out, what actions can we take that you as an individual can to take action on making your life better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how should one create their AI roadmap when they are still trying to understand what AI is? You know, just the other day, 2 days back, DeepSeek has come in, and so we are still trying to figure out, okay, what is it? And that if some companies are telling us that it needs billions of dollars to create AI, and someone from China is saying it just needs a small amount of money and you can come with. Amidst all these things, you know, as a common person, how should they look at their roadmap? Should they take that road at all, or should they just, go back to the jungle, use the old tools and what in whatever they are doing? At least that is more grounded. How do you want them to look at their roadmap? Should it be just be a roadmap and not AI roadmap, or there has to be?
Oh, I love this question, because I do think some people in my DMs, Joan, how do I get a job in AI? Like, this is my golden ticket. I will ride through this wave because I'll work in AI. I'm like, I work in AI. I've been in AI layoffs. Like, if that's not an obvious thing, this is not the golden ticket. You don't need to work in AI to be resilient. I think this is obvious, but I talk about people who work in fancy donuts here in Seattle. They make wild amounts of money selling donuts, right? You can be a carpenter, right? You don't have to work in AI. So I think there's a route where you say, hey, I want these AI jobs. I want to become a machine learning engineer. Go for it. Up to. There's so many other opportunities to make money, take care of yourself, that don't necessarily involve AI. So I think the word also, your AI roadmap, it's personal, this journey. I can give you advice, I can give you data, I can give you research, but ultimately you're the one that's in charge of your life, I believe, and designing it how you want to. But I would love to give you advice of big things that have caused problems for me. So hopefully it's easier for you on this road to making yourself findable online, having a network of people who can help you with that career, and also taking care of your finances. Things I wish I'd known way, way younger. I could be a lot wealthier, and giving that gift back to other people who may not have the resources to learn about financial education. So all those pieces are things I think are very important for your AI roadmap today and the next 5 years, even more so.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. John, how should I create my roadmap? Where you talk about resilience, does this resilience word at all usable in terms of AI? Or you got to be, when you are talking about, you got to be resilient in putting one prompt after another till you get the final result. Where does this resilience come into our life?
Yeah, well, I think resilience, frequently people come to me with a specific question. They really want, I'm worried about losing my job. What do I do next? I'm scared about my finances. Right? These type of questions. I think what you're talking about also is technologically, you may have to try several times for a project to go well. So if you give up on the first try of everything you do, you may not go very far, my friend. So I think learning from one of my best friends, she says, it's not a mistake if you learn from it. If you're banging your head against the wall, this could be a problem. But if you actively, ooh, I made this mistake. Okay, let's try again. We can reprompt and otherwise. But I see resilience across my work as a huge metaphor, but also, I don't know. I feel so much optimism in this time, I got to say.
Absolutely, optimism. But what makes you optimistic? Is it because of artificial intelligence, or it's just the way you are? You are. It's your makeup that you are. You are made like that. You are optimistic. Like some people are optimistic, some people are not. What has AI to do with it? In fact, maybe the AI is. That's the other day I was seeing yesterday itself that LinkedIn has come out with a recruiting tool that is an AI, and different people are expressing their own opinion. So, as I said, I'm trying to understand whether artificial intelligence is needed in our life. What do you need to make a pizza or a burger and serve it or eat it or deliver it? Where does, or are we just out? It's become a fancy word, and we are trying to push AI into everything because it's a cool thing to talk about it.
I think a little bit of all of it. I think you mentioned kind of the burger joints, or does a burger place need AI? But I'd actually say Chipotle is rolling out robots to work on avocados, to peel them and cut them faster, because that's a huge cost to the business. At home, I don't need a robot necessarily to cook for me or with me. But I think for some companies, I have an AI that currently, not for this one, but it pitches me to podcasts as though it were a human. It reviews all the different podcasts and it says, Joan will be an excellent guest. And it pitches me. It's like my virtual assistant. And I've landed on many cool podcasts. They're like, wow, what a tailored pitch. Your team is doing such a good job. And I'm like, that's the large language model and the stuff I put into the large language model. And I give it, some parameters of the podcast I'd like to be placed on. But ultimately it shows me how many hours of work it is automated for me and my team. That's huge. That's huge. And I pay a very little amount of money to do a huge amount of work. So I think it's these opportunities for efficiencies, augmenting the workflow. There's a poor human has to do their research, typing in all these things, sending these things out and following up. And instead, it's a bot. So I think that's one, at least concrete example of a product I really do use that helps me in my workday. So I think it really depends.
It really depends. Let's understand through your book, your AI roadmap. Who is this book for? Yeah. Who is this book for? And what have you dealt in this book?
Well, this book is a companion to my podcast, I'm happy to say, also entitled Your AI Roadmap. The book is published by Wiley, I'm grateful to say, and it was recently featured in Forbes. The first whole half of the book is for the people in my DMs who are, how do I get a job in AI? How do I make sure to future-proof my career? These types of questions. It's about personal branding. It's about networking, like super old school things. But when I did research about it, and this blew my mind, I don't know if it'll blow yours, but LinkedIn did research of after COVID layoffs, how did people land their next job? 70% of people, according to this research study, like landed their next job because of an introduction from someone they knew, right? Like Sandeep made this intro, that's how I got the job, right? It's not like sending your CV to many different, internet places. So if 70% of people are landing the next job that way, why do we think it's the side route when it's actually the main route? So having a personal brand, being findable, knowing people, leveraging your network, it sounds like an old playbook, but the research really bears it out into the way that maybe modern job seekers would be wise to use. So I give templates and frameworks step by step if you really need it spelled out. I will say, just in a quick example, someone from many years ago reached out to me the other day with a huge opportunity. I was like, you remember me? We met very, very short amount of time years ago. And she said, well, it was so easy to find you. I looked you up. My name's unusual. Okay, I do know this. But also she could review my stuff. She could review my content online and go, oh yeah, Joan's still working in this AI stuff. She's still up to date. Great, I'll ping her. Huge opportunity in my DM, right? Personal brand, network across years and a very, very lucrative opportunity. So I think anyone who's thinking about how do I stay resilient on the job market, my career, where I want to go, network with the people around you that know of the opportunities, who can hire you, who can work with you as business partners, etc. So that's how I think about the first part of my book. And the second part is the money stuff, all about my recommendations of how I've been building wealth and how other people can too. I have 22 income streams. It's a dense book, a lot of information. But the first part, modern careers. The second part, modern finances, spelled out very clearly, modern finance 101. No rocket science, but things I wish I'd learned a long time ago.
Right. Why do you insist on diverse income stream? I think why not AI helping us in the old days, in those old days when you have one job, you go, you come back, you are happy, you have time for family. Why diverse stream?
Yeah, well, because you could lose that job so easily. Here in the United States, we have at-will contracts for almost every contract. So if your boss says, which happened to me, right? The boss brought me in. Sorry, Joan, we don't have money to pay you. My main income stream disappeared overnight, right? Like that can be very scary. So in this modern world where we talk about a diverse financial portfolio, right? Different stocks and things, real estate you might invest in. Why only have one incoming income stream? I think it's, especially when I talk to people who worry about layoffs, do you have a side hustle? Is there another way that you can bring in money that maybe is not as big as your day job, but has the potential that you could scale it if you wanted to? And so I love that I'm waiting for my first 8-figure deal to close. I'm working very, very, very hard. But while that's happening, I have other income streams that are bringing in things. So I'm not desperately worried about losing my house, right? That there's different opportunities for big milestones and smaller things along the way. So no one needs that many income streams if you don't want to, but I recommend thinking about it, testing, seeing if it could be a great fit for you. What if you're the next big donut shop person that has a line around the block and that's how you bring in your income? Who knows? So I think it's kind of expanding your mind, because the world, I don't think it's going to look like a 9-to-5 for a 30-year career into the future.
Absolutely. Where do you think see this whole AI thing going? Because you have done a PhD in conversational artificial intelligence. Tell us a bit. Look into the future. Where do you see we are going with AI? Is AI going separately? We are rushing behind it, or we are going together?
Oh gosh. I remain optimistic. I think it can be a tool that can augment work. Conversational AI, we talk with bots more often than we think, I think, and some of these, customer support things and how we do that well. And I've worked with Fortune 500 customers. We can save a lot of money and make a lot of money tweaking little things, 10% here, 8% here, millions of dollars, right, for these different companies. And for the individual, I really do recommend keep learning. Try not to be overwhelmed. I mean, DeepSeek, everyone, the news is wild, right? You could go crazy easily. But I think being aware of things that are happening in your sector, if you work in finance, what cool tools are coming out in finance that could help automate your work, make it easier, make it more efficient. it's going to be a really fun few years, my friend.
Absolutely. Let's understand a bit about your Clarity AI. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, my team and I, we build custom automations and data lakes and AI solutions for companies. So frequently sometimes I have customers who are like, I want to put AI on it. I was like, okay, what does that actually mean? Tangibly, where you can move the needle. We've worked on projects where people are, and this is still happening today, people's day job is to manually copy and paste codes from PDFs into websites. I wish this were not true, but it is true that some people's their jobs are so manual. We can create automations and tools that do this for you. So if there is something very manual, we could automate it. So we make, it's not that jazzy maybe, but we make these custom automations. And my biggest customer right now is a farming company, and building their data lake, dashboards, custom automations, and really fun robotics things, hopefully for the future, that I get to build out for them.
Absolutely. There's much to learn from you, and a lot can be learned from your podcast, your AI roadmap. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes. Well, I have a bunch of friends who work in AI also, and we hear all these people, AI this, AI that. I'm like, are you building it? Because if you're not building it, I don't know if I trust you. It's really hard to go from 0 to 1 to 5. So on my podcast, I bring in friends who are working at Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Adobe, many cool startups. And they talk about exactly what they're building, how they think about it, what's the impact of the products that they work on. And then I also ask them, what's your career? Like you're a chief whatever. How did you get there? What are the steps that people who are listening could take in that roadmap, as we talk about the technical part of understanding it, but also how do you get your foot in the door? How do you, if you want to become one of these people working in it, how does that happen? So that podcast is a partner companion to my book, which is far more about the career nuts and bolts and the money stuff. So companion, my podcast is free. You can find it wherever you want, Your AI Roadmap. Your listeners are welcome to go there, but it's really fun, frankly, to hear my friends talk about like, this is a hard problem, but our users want this. I love how it is transparent, de-jargoned, very fun.
Absolutely. As I said, there's so much to learn from you. And I'm sure a lot of people will want to learn from you, about your company, and Clarity AI, and from your book and podcast. So what's the best way for them to connect with you, Dr. John?
Absolutely. I'm most active on LinkedIn, although everyone wants me on Instagram. So we're slowly building out. If you've seen Instagram with like 200 people, it's me. You can also find us at yourairoadmap.com. We got the URL, woohoo, for the book. So those are the main places you can find me.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.